Hello everybody, I am Torit Mato and you are watching Art in Purulia. I had been painting with oil paints since several years, almost 30 years. Then I discovered the fun of watercolors. I wanted to really get rid of the smell of linseed oil and turpentine in oil painting. I was sick of it. So I thought let me try watercolors. It was only in school days that I had played around with watercolors. But it took quite some time and practice for me to understand and work efficiently with watercolors. Today I shall be discussing about my experience with truth and talk of 5 major mistakes that I used to make as a beginner watercolorist. Watercolor is quite unique and it takes a lot of practice to master it. The first mistake I made was to use poor quality materials, paints, brushes and paper. I had picked up the hobby grade paints and used to paint on normal photocopy paper or just a paper torn out of the notebook. The paper used to lose its shape because it was too thin to hold water. Moreover, I never used to use any masking tape to tape it to any board or so. The paints also didn't have enough pigments, so the colors were dull. On top of it, the brushes had no water holding capability, nor could hold shape. Naturally, it was quite frustrating. So the lesson I learnt is that from the very beginning, one must use good quality paints, at least student grade, if not artist grade, and also good quality thick paper meant for watercolor painting, around 300 GSM. The thickness of paper is generally expressed by its weight, grams per square meter or GSM, or also in pounds. 300 GSM is 140 pounds. It's also worth spending some extra money for one or two good watercolor brushes. The second mistake was that I was not aware of the process of painting using several layers. So I used to attempt the whole painting at one go, in one layer itself. That would not only be messy, but could never get the brightness in colors. The colors would mix with each other. And I would also not be able to achieve the depth in the painting. It used to look absolutely flat. A painting should be built in layers and generally light to dark from the background to foreground. Next mistake was using white for depicting white areas and mixing white with other colors to lighten them. For depicting white, you should keep the white of the paper unpainted. There are several techniques like lifting, scratching and using masking to preserve or depict white. And to make a color light, just add some water. If you add white, it will form a new hue. Like if you add white to red, to make it light red, it will become pink or flesh color. Moreover, the color will lose its transparency and become opaque. It will look like gouache. The magic of watercolor is in its transparency. That will totally get ruined. Next mistake was using colors without knowing the color theory and concepts. I'll agree to some extent that one would be able to make beautiful paintings without knowing the color theory also. But knowing them surely helps people like me. Also, I used to mix too many colors at one go, ending up making muddy and dull colors. Letting the colors blend on the paper creates better effect than mixing them on palette and then applying. The last mistake that I'm going to explain in this video was that I used to make the initial pencil outline too dark, which showed up even after painting. One good solution to this is to use a water soluble pencil. It blends automatically without leaving any trace. I'll finish the video here itself. Watch out for the next video with some more mistakes I did and also their remedies. Thank you so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay safe, happy painting.